Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. A Saskatoon family is hoping to learn what happened to their 14-year-old child who died while under the care of social services. An inquest began today into the death of Brandon Schaefer Kovacs. He died at the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital in November 2022. At the time, he was living at Eagles Nest Youth Ranch. The boy's mom, Chantel Schaefer, testified saying her son had mental and physical challenges that required him to be under 24/7 care. Schaefer said when she saw her son the week before his death, he seemed off and had a stomach ache. Another visit that week, she said her son was slumped over in bed and slurring his words, complaining that his back hurt. She said he was sent to hospital without her knowledge and died there 4 days later. Schaefer said group home staff were dismissive of her concerns, downplayed his condition, and didn't respond when she asked to send him to hospital earlier. A doctor testifying in the afternoon who cared for Schaefer Kovacs says the boy died after contracting a combination of strep pneumonia and influenza A. He said if Schaefer Kovacs had come earlier to the hospital, he would have had a better chance of surviving. The inquest is expected to last until Thursday. Prince Albert police are renewing calls for information into the disappearance of a man who's been missing for 3 years. Henry McAdam was last seen at a business in the 500 block of 15th Street East in July 2022. He was reported missing just over a month later. Anyone with information about what happened to Henry McAdam is asked to call police or report to Crime Stoppers. The NDP says the Saskatchewan government's deficit is larger than reported on Friday. They claim the province is using a carbon tax-related line item to supplement the number. Last week, the finance minister reported a projected $349 million deficit in a first quarter update. However, the NDP says the number should be closer to $800 million.
This government is either planning to impose a carbon tax, which means they lied, or their budget deficit is actually $500 million larger, $815 million at the end of Q1, which again means they lied. And they're using these carbon tax dollars to prop up their fictional budget.
CTV has reached out to the government of Saskatchewan for comment. We'll hopefully have more on that at 6. Well, a nice little weekend, actually, Jeff, and I guess I was wrong thinking we're done with all that nice weather.
What? I don't think you were wrong. You just maybe not confident enough in what we were hoping for, because we were talking about the heat that was on its way, John, and we have got ourselves a forecast that is above seasonal in many locations. So it looks like a very hot week as we make our way in towards, well, the unofficial end of summer. Anyhow, we got ourselves a little bit of an impulse moving through parts of Manitoba, but across our provinces, just some ground clutter. The heat is tricking the radar, so right now, fairly calm conditions, a big high-pressure ridge in place, and that means a lot of sunshine, and it looks like it's staying in place for a while. How hot will it get? We'll talk about that in just a bit.
There's a TikTok trend where people challenge police officers to a foot pursuit, and it's taking off in Canada. Take a look. This video was filmed in Broadview with Taylor Lutz being chased. Lutz says making the video with an RCMP officer was all in good fun, but not everyone is on board. Sociology professor Christopher Schneider has written about policing and social media. He worries someone could get hurt while taking part in this trend.
Why would we take the risk here if the police are playing games with members of the community and chasing them around? It seems like a sort of a bad idea.
He says there are less risky, less physical ways for on-duty officers to connect with their community and showcase the human side of law enforcement. A family-friendly festival of art took over Ramey Modern in Saskatoon on Sunday. The event featured music, lots of interactive art, and for people to enjoy, karaoke and puppet making. It's the 5th year the free event has been hosted in and around Ramey Modern. Today was the low-sensory version of the event with indoor activities only for those who benefit from reduced noise, light, and crowds. The best arborists in the prairies showed off their skills in Saskatoon's Kinsman Park over the weekend. The International Society of Arboriculture's Prairie Chapter hosted their tree climbing championship featuring 43 competitors. Participants competed in 5 different events, including installing rope, moving around trees, and performing rescues.
Everybody's kind of thinking outside the box. Arborists are we're very good problem solvers, and so we're always looking at it. You know, every tree is different, every scenario is different, every piece of equipment is different. So we're always solving puzzles the whole time. And so this is basically who can figure out the puzzle the quickest and the safest and that kind of stuff.
The top competitors will eventually go on to the International Championships in New Zealand later this year. After the break, it's all about obedience this week at the exhibition grounds. Jasmine Pelche finds out more about the All-Breed Championship Dog Show. The Archie Anderson Pavilion exhibition grounds will be host to some of the best in breed this week as part of the Saskatchewan Show Circuit. Jasmine Pelche is there to find out more.
The Prince Albert Kennel Club is hosting a championship dog show this week. Could you give some background information on the show?
For sure. So the Prince Albert Kennel Club is in its 101st year of operation, and this year marks our 54th annual show. We hold 2 shows a year, one in March and one in August, and this show is part of the Saskatoon and Prince Albert Summer Show Circuit for all, mostly local exhibitors. Gives them an opportunity to earn championship points and have their particular breeds evaluated by all breed judges from all over the country and from all over the world this year, so it's great.
And who do we have with us here today?
Oh, so here we have Viva. Viva is a grand champion, and she is coming up 10 years old. She is a veteran, and she is currently the #5 veteran in all breeds across Canada. So she's campaigning for top veteran in Canada. And then at the other end of the spectrum here, we have wiggly little AJ, who is just starting out her career as a show dog. And show dogs can start out showing at the age of 4 months old in a baby puppy class. And that's what she's going to be doing starting tonight as her first debut in the ring.
What sort of things are they asked to do?
So for a conformation show, which is when the judges are looking at the actual physical bone structure and breed type on the dog, they have to stand for examination on the table. They are evaluated a lot on their movement in the ring, so that's why we have a big ring. The dogs have to move, and if they're put together properly, they're going to move properly. We as breeders have a breed standard, which is a written set of standards, everything from the length of the bone to the color and shape of their eyes, ear set, teeth, coat, out of 100 for every single breed that's here, and we are trying to breed the dog closest to 100, and each judge is judging the dog that they think matches that standard close. So you may see 6 different Shelties or Rottweilers in there, and the judge is going to pick his particular choice for closest to 100.
You bred these dogs, correct?
Yes, I bred these dogs.
How did you get into breeding Shelties?
Actually, I've been breeding Shelties for 47 years, and I got my first Sheltie when I was 16. I saved up in high school and went to a few kennels looking for a dog, and one little dog, her name was Saddles, High Hopes Rhinestone Cowgirl, kind of picked me out of a kennel that had about 55 Shelties in it, and she came from the back of this run. Picked me, and that was my first dog, and we've carried on ever since from then. I haven't changed breeds. For me, they're the best breed, and every breeder you'd talk to is going to say their breed's the best breed. That's the way it should be.
Like, what are some things that stand out, I guess, about their temperament, just because they're featured so prominently today? Well,
Shelties are a breed that is very willing to please. They want to work with their owners, so they want to do what you want them to do, and that's a wonderful thing. They're also very adaptable. They make a very good family pet. They can go out and play ball and chase balls, but they can be a great seniors dog or a therapy dog. They adapt to whatever home they're in, right? They also are very well known for agility and performance dogs because they learn very, very quickly. As they are bred to herd sheep in the Shetland Isles, they're always looking to see what their handler or their owner wants them to do. So they're always looking at you, and once they know what you want them to do, it's done. So they're a very, very affable and easy breed that way. And they're a nice size for apartments, and yeah.
Well, when and where is the dog show?
So the dog show is at the Prince Albert Exhibition Grounds. It runs from 9 till 4. It's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. There's also a small show tonight at 7 o'clock. And the public is welcome to come and attend. welcome to come and see the dogs and meet the exhibitors. Just always ask before you pet the dog at the show, because some of them have had hours of grooming to get ready for their 2 minutes in the ring. So there's a lot of time and effort on the exhibitor's part just to get that 2 minutes in there. So ask first, and they're always happy to talk to you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Still ahead on CTV News, breaking down the Riders game against the Stampeders. And later, could your diet reduce your risk of dementia? A new study says yes. From a nice weekend into hopefully a nice weekend and almost some hot temperatures, I think, is what you're hinting at. I don't
think there's no point in saying almost. It's going to be hot. I guess it all depends on how you define hot. But this time of year, John, we should typically be around 23 degrees for many locations, including Prince Albert. And temperatures are going to be nicely above that. So if people are hoping for some cooler temperatures, you know, those fall colors are not what we're going to be dealing with. So let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here. And as you can see, not a lot of active weather in Saskatchewan. Now you sort of see that this sort of fuzz thing going on there in and around Saskatoon, Regina, and down in the southwestern corner. That is what's called ground clutter. And there's also some along the Manitoba border. The radar installations are being affected by the heat. And so it creates a situation where it creates some reflectivity, but it's not reflecting any active weather. So let's just, as we say in economics class, assume that away. What we are going to take a look at is that system that's sliding south of the Interlake region of Manitoba, making its way into Minnesota. That is going to be an issue. And if you're traveling in the next couple of days out towards Ontario and Atlantic Canada, well, there's going to be a lot more in the way of active weather out there, some showers, and pretty cool conditions compared to the west. There's a big high-pressure ridge in place for Western Canada, and it's going to stay hot. As you can see, the isobar lines, the pressure lines, not very close together. So, of course, that means light winds and not much in the way of active weather. You can certainly see a few spotty showers popping up here and there as we make our way into tomorrow. But that's about it. So overnight tonight, clearing skies. Some places will have a chance, a slight chance of some shower activity, but pretty consistent temperature grouping here. 11 degrees in Spiritwood, the Battlefords, Birch Hills, Melfort, Nipawin, and only 1 degree cooler in Candle Lake and Rostern under clear skies in both locations, just 10 degrees the overnight temperature. Moving on to tomorrow, we'll look at these numbers. 30 degrees for the Battlefords, 29 for Spiritwood, the same for Candle Lake, Birch Hills, Rostern, Melfort, and Nipawin. Most locations dealing with mainly cloudy conditions. Nipawin, a bit more in the way of sunshine. I don't know if that's helpful when it comes to fishing out there at Tobin Lake, but, you know, that's the temperatures and the sky conditions you will be dealing with tomorrow. On to our detailed forecast for Prince Albert area. Tonight, as I mentioned earlier, a slight chance of showers, but the wind's really backing off. 9 is the overnight temperature. And as we roll into Tuesday, mainly cloudy skies, but 29 degrees for a daytime high, way above seasonal by about 6 degrees, as I mentioned. Winds out of the west at 10. And here is the 7-day forecast for the area. We've got ourselves 30 degrees on Wednesday with sunshine, 30 again on Thursday, a bit more in the way of cloud, but still staying hot. Then on Friday and Saturday, both days as we get into the long weekend, 31 degrees under sunny skies, and not much different on Sunday, mainly sunny conditions and 30 degrees. And holiday Monday, we've got ourselves, leave the lake day. It's still going to be sunny and warm, 27 degrees. But look at those temperatures, John, way above seasonal. And we have 5 days in a row at 30 or above. So technically not a heat wave, although I think they've been sort of, shifting what the rules are on heat waves. Typically it's supposed to be 3 days in a row of 32 or above, but we've still got some pretty hot temperatures in store.
Sounds good. And you know what? We might have just given birth to a new segment, the Weatherman's Lock of the Week, the prognostication. You said it was going to be hot, so we're sticking to it. We need a prop now.
There we go, just like in the movie The Weatherman. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, there were some prognosticators saying the Riders and the Stampeders was going to be a good game. The offensive line, though, fell victim to another Calgary Stampede on the weekend. The Stampeders' defensive rush got to Trevor Harris 4 times, giving up 0 points in the second half as Calgary beat the Riders 32-15. Harris took some big hits in this one and was replaced late in the game by Jake Mayer, but both Harris and his coach say the move was made because of the game was out of reach, not due to injury. Saskatchewan's go-kart community is slowly increasing in size with a small but dedicated group of female racers embracing the sport. Sierra D'Souza Butts has the details.
Kart racing for 20 years, Alexis Budel says it's the community of motorists that brings her back every year.
That is the best part to this sport. I have a family we met 2 years ago and absolutely walk in their house like it's mine. That's a second family, and everybody here. Everybody looks out for each other.
Traveling from outside of Winnipeg to Regina, Budel is one of 7 women representing the South Sask Kart Club out of its 60 members.
There's been a huge uptick in women in the sport, which is fantastic. There's never enough. It's always fantastic to beat the boys. So
the number of female drivers has increased little by little over the years, with women partaking in the sport for various reasons.
I had to sell my horses. I was moving off a farm into city, and that was the comment, trade horsepower for horsepower. So I had loads of questions, and I came to watch 6 years ago, and my daughter and I started that next year.
When my dad got diagnosed with hemochromatosis, he wanted to find a hobby that me and him could both partake in. So we sold one of our cars, bought our first go-kart, got the suit, got everything, and it was just pull the cord and race at that point.
Haley Goulash, who also joined the racing community because of her family, says she enjoys the high-speed action karting brings.
I really just enjoy being on the track. I enjoy racing. I enjoy the competitive nature of it. Yeah, there's no other feeling than being behind a wheel going 120 kilometers an hour. There's no feeling that matches it.
Adding, the nonprofit club hopes to see the next generation of girls and boys keep the sport alive.
We really want to keep growing the sport. It's the quickest, the best way, the most affordable way into motorsport by all means. So for the little guys, it's the best way for them to get into it. It's the safest way to get into motorsport. So for us to keep the club alive, it gives everybody an opportunity to get into motorsport at one time or another.
Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
On Sunday, the Saskatoon Hilltops exacted some revenge on the team that beat them 2 weeks ago in Winnipeg. Saskatoon took an early lead and never looked back, leading 25-0 going into halftime against a team that scored 31 points on them last time out. The running game was well spread between Charles Sawi and David Collins, who each got into the end zone on more than one occasion. Jace Moles caught 2 interceptions on defense, helping the Hilltops to a 42-15 home victory. After a bye week, the Hilltops head to Regina September 6th. They won't be back at SMF Field, though, until September 27th against the Regina Thunder.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
It's often said that people suffer for their art, and that's especially true for one Montreal artist. She's battling a rare bone disease, but has turned her chronic pain into inspiration for her latest work. CTV's Christine Long has her story.
Sandra Woods' watercolor pigments sparkle with flecks of amethyst and garnet.
You should be able to see some shimmer around here, this area.
While she works, she wears a dynamic splint on her right hand. It's a necessity.
I was struck with a rare disease that causes pretty severe chronic pain, potentially bone and joint issues, which is why I wear this several hours a day to prevent the bones from melting.
Painting through the pain, Woods uses the splint to her advantage.
So I'm holding the paintbrush with my thumb, and if I'm using a larger brush, sometimes I'll stick the brush under here and paint like an extension of my hand if I'm using an easel.
She's won awards for her work that reflects her personal experiences.
People with chronic pain will often talk about experiencing a wave of pain or a flare of pain. So this series focuses on waves and volcanoes, so kind of eruptions of pain or flares of pain.
Woods founded the West Island Art Studio Circuit, including 11 artists who all have talent and a story to share. For the month of September, selections of their work will be on display at Studio 77 in Point Claire Village.
As a disabled artist, because of my cognitive impairment, I wanted to prove to myself, but also to other people who might be having cognitive issues or disabilities, that we can still do things and we can still be involved and we can still be leaders in our communities.
Studio 77 has always been an open hub for artists and their admirers, says owner David Epstein.
All the artists picked up on it and they bring their friends, and it became a place where the artistic community basically gets together.
The collection runs all next month, with the vernissage on September 21st. Christine Long, CTV News.
There's a new study that suggests a Mediterranean diet lowers the risk of dementia for those most at risk. Researchers studied more than 5,700 people for over 3 decades and found those with a gene linked to Alzheimer's disease who ate a Mediterranean diet lowered their risk of dementia by at least 35%. The diet is rich in vegetables, fruits, nuts, fish, and olive oil. The study published in the journal Nature found that people with a gene that puts them at risk appear to have a distinctive metabolic profile that dramatically responds to healthy nutrients in that diet. So there you go, Jeff. And well, if you're not thinking about food, you're probably thinking about companions. And there's no better companion for a toddler than a dog. Take a look at this. So that Saint Bernard is acting exactly like its breed name, being a saint for that kid, that little toddler. The name of the dog is Thanos, and I think he just wants to get back to his nap, but the kid's having too much fun there with the ring stack game.
That cracks me up. Well, obviously that's good. Well, at least that, and then the child was nice enough to say, I'm taking these off now. Well,
and that's what I was thinking is, you know, you put your toys somewhere, but you got to put them away, and then I think the clip repeats itself. So there you go. That's going to do it for us. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.